Are you thinking about buying a home? Or maybe you're in the middle of buying a home and you're wondering, am I missing something? Well, in this video, we're talking about the hidden costs of buying a home and sharing some of our pro tips to reduce those expenses. If this is your first time here, welcome. If you've been here before, thank you so much for coming back and for spending some of your time with me. My name is Joe, and I am proud to be your front range realtor here with Great Life Colorado and eXp Realty. On this channel, we have a lot of fun talking about all things that are Colorado and especially Colorado real estate. I probably won't surprise anyone when I say there's a lot more to buying a home than just the purchase price. It's important to us that you know what to expect and how to budget for it. We also want to help you keep a reasonable reserve fund so that you can turn to it if an unexpected expense does pop up. None of us likes a surprise expense, but if you're prepared and organized, well, you can roll with the punches a little bit better as they arise. Owning your own home is totally different than renting or living in a home that you don't own outright. Home ownership is wonderful in so many ways, but it is expensive and it does require careful planning and budgeting. In this video, we're going to be looking at some of the hidden expenses that you can expect to incur, and they really fall into two categories. Pre-closing closing costs, and these are expenses that are directly related to the purchase of your home, and post-closing costs. These are costs that may be incurred immediately after or shortly thereafter closing of your home. I would love to tell you that all you need to come up with is your down payment and poof, you're in the house, but that's a lie. You'll probably find yourself incurring expenses almost the moment you undergo contract. So, let's talk about what those expenses are and how we can cut them back. All right, the first one, inspections. This is likely one of the first expenses you'll have on the home in that home buying process. Inspections will vary depending on the age and the condition of the home, and they may include things like the general inspection, an HVAC inspection, a sewer scope, a termite inspection. If there's a pool, even an inspection there. Bottom line, you'll need to be prepared to lay out some of your hard-earned cash on inspections pretty quickly, within maybe a week or so of going under contract. I do not recommend cutting back on this. You can shop around for the best pricing, but I would never recommend foregoing an inspection just to save a few dollars. Chances are if you do, it'll come back to haunt you. Number 2, lender's fees. If you'll be paying cash for your home, you can ignore this. But most of us will be getting a loan, and there are fees associated with getting that loan. This can include things like a credit report fee, an appraisal fee, commission to the lender, and other things. It's important to shop around so you can find a lender that you trust and is upfront with their fees. Title and attorney fees. There are very few purchases in Colorado that require an attorney, so most people end up using a title company to handle the closing of their transaction. Each title company is going to have fees and costs associated with the purchase of your new home. You have the right to shop around and pick the title company that you want. However, in most deals in Colorado, the seller is selecting the title company. So if you have one in mind that you want to go with, you need to tell your agent and discuss it beforehand so they can write it into the offer. Escrow fees and adjustments. Your escrow officer will ensure that the money that is paid by you to purchase your home is distributed to the appropriate parties and that the remaining balance is transferred to the seller. Examples of some of these things that the escrow officer helps handle and adjust are things like the payment of HOA fees, your prorated taxes, the seller's remaining mortgage, and more. The buyer may be responsible for paying a portion or all of these fees. Escrow fees are usually determined based on the purchase price of the property and vary from company to company. Chat with your agent or the escrow officer and they'll be able to get you a good estimate on the title and escrow fees that you'll be responsible for paying at closing. Number 5, interest. Nobody loves paying interest, but it's a reality if you're going to have a mortgage associated with the purchase of your home. Be prepared that your lender may require interest due on your mortgage for the period between the closing date and the first day of the next mortgage bill, and that will be paid in advance. Prorated, of course. Utilities. You might be thinking, of course, I have to pay utilities when I buy a house. That's a given. But the surprise part is some people don't realize that utility companies may require an initial upfront deposit or service activation fee. Depending on whether you've had the service with them before or not, it determines on how much that fee would be. So overall, it really just depends. It may be a good idea to talk with the seller to see if you could transfer the service instead of having them turn it off completely and having a new service initiated. Insurance. If you're getting a loan, chances are that you will be required to maintain homeowner's insurance on that property. Even if you're not getting a loan, I strongly recommend that you get and keep insurance on your property. The best way to save on insurance is to simply shop around. It can be tedious and it may take a couple hours of work, but it could save you a ton of money over the course of a year. Home warranty. As a buyer, you may want a home warranty in place to help protect the major systems of the home. I recommend asking the seller to provide a 1-year home warranty as part of your offer. This is a pretty common practice here in Colorado, and if the seller refuses, I recommend you do some research into the different providers, what they cover, how much they cover, and what it would cost, and decide if it's worthwhile for you to purchase that same coverage on your own. Taxes. You may be required to pay a portion of your taxes at closing. Depending on how property taxes are assessed in your area, you may have to pay them in full. Talk with your escrow officer or your agent if you're worried about this. Unfortunately, I don't have any good hacks or tips to get out of taxes. It's just one of those things we all have to pay as part of owning a home. All right, let's talk about post-closing expenses. Now that we've already purchased the house, you're going to still need to shell out some money to get things done. The first one, and it's obvious, moving. Whether you decide to hire a professional mover or not, you will absolutely incur some sort of cost when it comes to moving. Everything from renting the truck to boxes or even just pizza and drinks for your friends if you're doing it that way. But moving is a very big expense in some cases, so budget for it. Appliances. Did your home come with appliances? Are they worth keeping? Do you need to upgrade them? Things like the fridge, the washer, and the dryer can be all written into the contract and save you a lot of money right up front. But you need to be careful and make sure that they're written in because they're not a given and they can be excluded. So make sure you talk with your agent if you're interested in the appliances. Number 3, maintenance and repairs. When you own a home, all of the maintenance and expenses are 100% your responsibility. These can vary and change depending on the age of the home. Obviously, older homes tend to be more expensive to maintain than brand new homes, but there's really no magic number here. For newer homes, it's probably safe to budget around 3% of the purchase price of the home for a rainy day fund. And for an older home, you may want to ratchet that up to about 5% of the value of the home annually. So if you allow some maintenance and repair fund to accumulate over time, and you don't go out and have a blowout vacation using that money, you should have some money left over at the end of the year. This should be able to cover things like your mid-range expenses, like painting the exterior of your home, or your larger ticket items, like replacing your roof if it's not going to be repaired under insurance. You're going to be saving money overall by doing routine maintenance on your home. So if you have a leaky faucet, try to fix it yourself before you call the handyman or a plumber. But at the end of the day, there's some projects that are going to require professional help. YouTube is a great place to learn some of these skills, but if you ever feel that you can't handle it, just call a pro. Ongoing expenses. Every month you'll have expenses like your internet, your utilities, your electric. You also may have quarterly expenses depending on where you live, like your HOA fees, and they may be collected monthly or annually. Your taxes and insurance. We recommend that you track all of your expenses and budget for them with a 5% cushion overall. This will give you a safe barrier in case those providers present you with a rate increase or something else comes up. Number 5, home improvements. Most homeowners want or need to make improvements like updating their kitchens or bathrooms or doing add-ons like a deck or patio or fire pits. We know you absolutely hate that carpet in the bedroom from 1970, and there's no way to get rid of it unless you pull it out and add new carpet. But You need to budget for all of these items so you can enjoy those improvements free of any financial stress or burden. Also, keep in mind that they don't have to be done as soon as your home is purchased. Your home is going to be a work in progress. Be patient. There are potentially hundreds of other expenses that I haven't covered with owning a home. You can avoid falling into some of these pitfalls by just doing a little bit of research, watch out who you hire, and really weigh what is important and what needs to be done now versus later. Things like a cleaning service or pool service or security system or pest control are some additional expenses that you may incur depending on the home you purchase and your lifestyle. Well, there you have it. I hope you're feeling ready to pay off some of those hidden costs with buying a home with confidence. If you're thinking about buying a home here on Colorado's Front Range and would like to learn more about working with us, please drop me a comment or go ahead and send me an email at joebenjamincolorado@gmail.com. If you found this video helpful, please let me know by hitting that like and subscribe button. And until then, keep living your great life here in Colorado, and we'll see you next Friday. Thanks.